I just had the absolute crap scared out of me while I was walking around playing Pokemon Go late at night. I can't be sure anything truly weird happened because it was dark and I might have let my imagination run away with me. But damn, did it ever give me a spine tingle. I live in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, in an old established suburb that tends to be very quiet. There's no crime to speak of, apart from the occasional burglary, and it's perfectly safe to walk around at night. It's very green, with lots of old trees, and there's beautiful creek reserves running down one side of it. It's a really nice place to live. I got into Pokemon Go a few weeks ago, and it's been great for getting me to go out there and exercise. My Fitbit reports that my steps per day have more than doubled since I started playing, meaning it's the most effective exercise tool I've used in years. For those who haven't played Pokemon Go, it's a free game played on your mobile phone. You walk around the real world and catch little digital creatures which you can train up and use to fight other players' creatures. You also collect eggs which and have to walk long distances to hatch them. Anyway, tonight I went out walking in the dead of night because I had a few eggs to hatch. So I figured I'd get some experience and see if I could finish them off. Maybe catch a few Pokemon while I was at it. I was about 4 blocks from home when I decided I walked enough and it was time to head back. I decided to cover some different ground, so I took a left, intending to walk around the block and head home on a different street. So there I was, walking along this cross street, phone held out in front of me with the screen on, and about to turn left and head back towards home. From my right, across the road, I heard a really weird noise. Kind of a whimpering combined with a rasping noise. I looked, but there was a big old tree casting a shadow from the streetlight, so it was just a pool of darkness that my eyes couldn't penetrate. My first thought was that a big dog had gotten out of its yard, and I worried it might be vicious. There have been a dozen or so cases of dogs getting out and mauling people at night in the last decade or so. So it was real, if remote, risk. Then I heard the scuff on a shoe on concrete, and I realized someone walking towards me through the patch of darkness. I could very faintly see just a pair of legs in the silhouette, but nothing else. I got a vague sense of a very tall, very skinny man, but not unnaturally so. We're not talking slender here, just tallish. What really freaked me out, though, was the noise he it was making. I had mistaken it for a dog whimpering, but it was him. He was kind of squeaking in a high-pitched voice, but it was muffled and oddly strangled. I was frozen for a few seconds as he walked closer. Then I decided, fuck it. I was turning my back on him and heading home at a very brisk walk. As I walked, I could hear him behind me, still making those weird muffled squeaks. And occasionally I could hear these shoes scraping on the footpath. I'm a big guy, fairly imposing to look at, so I've been told. So I very rarely feel unsafe when out at night. But this guy was freaking me right out. I didn't want to look back. but I found I couldn't keep walking with this freak behind me and not at least get a look at him and see how far behind me he was. So, without slowing down, I turned and looked, and he was about 15 meters behind me, or 50 feet or so. And even though he was out from under the shadow of the tree and had crossed the road, all I could see of him was a silhouette. A rational part of my brain was trying to tell me that he was just listening to music and was singing along very badly. And he thought he was being quiet but didn't realize I could hear him. But I couldn't see any headphones on his head. He was just a black shape. But I was generally scared now. My nerve broke and I crossed the road. I figured, hey, at least I'll know if he means me harm. Because he'll have to cross the road to follow me. I glanced back across again, and he was still there. 15 meters or so back, and he was still just a silhouette. I honestly couldn't tell you an age or a racial background. He was a shadow, nothing more. That wouldn't have been the most unnerving thing about him, if it wasn't for that. I finished crossing and just walked faster, going as quickly as I could without breaking into a run. I can walk at a pretty brisk pace, but that high-pitched murmuring was still behind me, and it seemed to be louder. I was on the edge of panic now, and I looked back one more time. He was right behind me, without making any scuffing sounds on the path. He had closed in right behind me. He was less than 5 meters away. About the length of a big sedan. And he was still making that creepy whimpering sound. Part of me determined that this was all completely rational, and it said, okay, he's seen my phone, and I'm about to get mugged. That's all this is. Just a guy, probably a drug addict, who wants to steal my phone. I was trying to suppress the other parts of my mind that were screaming that something was very wrong. And this definitely wasn't just a mugging. I looked forward again and tried to walk faster, then the noise behind me stopped. Here it comes, I thought, and glanced behind. He was gone. The footpath behind me was empty. I nearly tripped over in surprise. He had vanished in less than 2 seconds. I looked into the front yard he had been right beside, but I couldn't see him. It felt like a trap. Like I was meant to drop my guard, but I didn't care. I got out of there at top speed, jogged the last 2 blocks home, and didn't feel safe until I was inside with the door locked. That's it, like I said. Most of it could have been just my imagination, but several elements of it really felt off. The sudden burst of speed was the most worrying. He closed 2/3 of the distance between us in just a few seconds without making any noise. It was freaky. Shit. Okay, that scared me. I heard a soft, high-pitched sigh from right behind me and nearly jumped out of my chair. It was my cat snoring. Jesus, I nearly had a heart attack. So yes, I'm pretty spooked right now. That freaking noise he made was the worst thing. It honestly sounded like someone with a gag over their mouth asking for help. High-pitched, muffled, and weirdly pleading. I know it's possible he was just the world's worst singer, but damn, he really managed to spook me quite thoroughly. If anyone else has had any odd encounters while out hunting Pokemon late at nights, please share them or message me them. If I really like your story, I'll edit it. Okay, well, that's the end of that. Alright, hold on, let me turn this freaking music off. It's getting annoying. Well, that was a little bit of a creepypasta I saw on Reddit, on the no sleep section of Reddit. Um, it caught my attention because it said something about late night Pokemon Go. Um, to be honest, it wasn't that very. It was actually decent. It built me up a little bit. Uh, um, I can't really say anything really bad about it, but the only it at the end it didn't nothing freaking happened, so it was just kind of like, really, you left me hanging there. But other than that, I don't know if this is a true story or not. Uh, he said if you have any other stories about playing Pokemon Go at night or whatever. But other than that, that could have been pretty creepy if that was real life. And I mean, dude, that would have been just creepy as shit if that was in real life. But anyway, that was a hold on, let me find it. I forgot who made this. That was Nocturnal Pokemon Go players. Look out for yourselves. By McDex. Um, it wasn't that bad. Of a little bit of a pasta, but I mean, it wasn't that bad. I don't think it's a pasta. But I don't think it's that bad either. Um, anyways, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next creepypasta reading or the next WoW video or gaming video, game and video, whatever. I don't really care, whatever people. Alright, guys. Pieces.